Hey there! You got to see my, wonderful folder again. Okay, so the second book that we read in my Intro to Fiction class, let me set my journal or my folder aside, was Peace Like a River by Leif Enger. This was one of my favorite books. It wasn't quite my favorite book. My favorite book comes in a couple more books. But it was a very good book. It is very much focused on the whole story is focused on this family. And they are very religious. You do not have to be religious to understand this book. I don't know necessarily if you will be offended by this book being, extremely focused on Christianity. I don't know, because I'm a Christian and so I read it, so I don't know how other people would react to it, because a lot of the people in my class are Christians, and so, not everybody, I don't think anyway. I don't know if we didn't necessarily go around and say, oh yeah, I'm Christian, or oh no, I'm not, or I'm Muslim, or, whatever. But I kind of got this, you can kind of get a vibe as to, what people believe and stuff. At least maybe I can. I don't know about everybody else. But anyway, yeah, it is a lot focused on religion, but that's not the main thing. It's mainly focused about this family who has had terrible things happen, and one of the sons has to run away, and they try and find him before the police do. And it's in the beginning it's super sad, and then it gets a lot. It does get better. If you do read this book, it's sad in the beginning, but it does get better. Maybe I should just read you what's on the cover, because I really don't want to ruin this book for you. Catcher in the Rye, I know a lot of people have read, but Peace Like a River, a lot of the books that we read I hadn't heard of ever, and so I don't know about everyone else, but I think maybe I'll just read what's on the cover and then maybe talk about it a little bit, because I don't want to spoil the end. Okay, so here is I have a hardback. So just on the back, it's just cover up the store name that I got it from, but on the back it's just reviews and stuff. So I don't want to read those. I mean, they're all obviously they're going to be good reviews, because why would you put a bad review on the back of your book? But anyway, here is what the cover of my book says, on the little leaves on the inside. Leaves on the inside. Leif Enger's debut is an extraordinary novel, an epic of generosity and heart that reminds us of the restorative power of great literature. The story of a father raising his 3 children in 1960s Minnesota, Peace Like a River is at once a heroic quest, a tragedy, a love story, and a haunting meditation on the possibility of magic in the everyday world. Raised on tales of cowboys and pirates, 11-year-old Reuben Land has little doubt that miracles happen all around us, and that it's up to us to make of it what we will. Reuben was born with no air in his lungs, and it was only when his father Jeremiah picked him up and commanded him to breathe that his lungs filled. Reuben struggles with debilitating asthma from then on, making him a boy who knows firsthand that life is a gift, and also one who suspects that his father is touched by God and can overturn the laws of nature. The quiet Midwestern life of the Lands is upended when Davy, the oldest son, kills 2 marauders who have come to harm the family. Unlike his father, he is not content to leave all matters of justice in God's hands. The morning of his sentence, Davy, a hero to some, a cold-blooded murderer to others, escapes from his cell, and the Lands set out in search for him. The journey is... The journey is touched. Back flap. By serendipity and the kindness of strangers, among them a free spirit named Roxana, who offers them a place to stay during a blizzard and winds up providing them with something far more permanent. Meanwhile, a federal agent is trailing the lands, convinced they know of Davy's whereabouts. With Jeremiah, which is the dad, at the helm, the family covers territory far more extraordinary than even the Badlands, where they search for Davy from their Airstream trailer. Sprinkled with playful nods to biblical tales, beloved classics such as Huckleberry Finn, the stories of Robert Louis Stevenson, and the westerns of Zane Grey, Peace Like a River unfolds like a revelation. And just a little bit on the author. Leif Enger was raised in Osakis. I'm sorry if I say that wrong. If you live there and you want to just be like, then fine. Minnesota. And has worked as a reporter and producer for the Minnesota Public Radio since 1984. He lives on a farm in Minnesota with his wife and 2 sons. Yeah, so this was one of my favorites, like I said before. The little sister in the story, and I'm sorry I don't remember her name. Swede is such a cute little girl. Okay, so there's Jeremiah. I'll just name off the characters and like kind of what they do, or what their place is in the story, sort of. Jeremiah is the dad in the story. Their mother has run off when they were young, and they don't see her ever again. And then there's Davy, who's the oldest child. He's the one who's like running away from the law, and they're like the one they're trying to find. Then there is Reuben. He's the narrator of the story, and they're kind of 2 different narrators. There's like a narrator of him as like a child when like this is actually happening, and then there's also a narrator of like him looking back on how things happened. And then the 4th person in that family is Swede, and she's the youngest, little baby of the family. But she acts so much more mature than, my goodness, I just said all their names. Reuben. Swede acts a lot more mature than Reuben does, and Reuben is older than Swede. Swede is a writer, and there are like little tidbits of her story like mixed in with this. Let me see if I can find a part. Those are my favorite parts, because like I'll just give up on that part. But anyway, when Swede would write something, she would write about what was happening in her life, and it was so interesting to like see how she would do that, because like she loved to read westerns, and she was writing a western story, and to see how the characters would act after something in her life had happened, it was quite interesting. Yeah, so I really wish that like Enger would publish a book of Swede's writing. Like, that would be so cool. She wrote poetry also. She had amazing rhythm, and I think she was 12, and my goodness, she was talented for a 12-year-old. I have never seen a 12-year-old that is as talented as she is. I mean, I know that it's Enger writing for her, because she's just a character in the story, but still, he could have, used stuff like maybe one of his sons. I don't know how old his sons were when he wrote this book, but anyway, he could have used something that, he could have used language that a younger person would use. She is so talented. Yeah, so I highly recommend this book. Well, if you want to read this book, I would definitely say it's a good one to read. So I will talk to you or see you or whatever. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!